What if? What's up, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar, and today I am joined by this lovely lady here to my right. And who are you?
Hello. So I am Ødfel. I'm a cosplayer, and I come on this channel sometimes to talk comics, as well as TV shows lately. I'm on pretty much every platform under this name, so definitely go check out my work sometime.
Yeah, she is an amazing cosplayer, so much so that the MCU took notice, right? And has
Yeah.
had you to some screenings and openings. So what's the last one that you got to see on
I'm actually a little jet lagged still. I just got back from seeing Shang-Chi. Definitely go see it. It comes out September 3rd. It might be in my top 3 favorite Marvel movies now, so go check it out. I'm really honored to have been able to go to another premiere. They're always such a blast, so it's always a good time.
Dang. Okay, so you got to see that. You got to see Black Widow. This is becoming a kind of thing for you, isn't it? That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm not jealous at all.
I'm in this weird phase now where I'm like, I don't want to expect it, but I'd like to be able to save up for it so it's not a surprise every time. So now I'm just kind of in this limbo of but who knows?
But it is really cool that you get invited to these things, but I think that's one thing. It's like you have to provide your own travel too, right? And your own stay. Mm-hmm. So even though it's cool, it's not like you live right next door to these things, because it always happens is it in LA? Is that where it happens, I assume?
All the ones I've been to have been in LA. A lot of the cosplayers who get invited are in LA. So for them, it's like a Tuesday. For me, I'm time to fly across the country. So I can only do so many, but it's been really cool to have the opportunity to go to at least a couple.
All right. Well, come time when the X-Men join the MCU, just, if you got a +1, just
we can live stream it.
You know what I'm saying? You can live stream it. All right. Okay. Before we get started, though, did you get to see any of the stars while you were there?
Yes, I saw pretty much everyone in the film, I think. That's this awesome. One, Black Widow didn't bring anyone out. This one had almost everyone. Simu Liu is an absolute sweetheart. He stopped and talked to everyone that was there. A lot of people took 1 or 2 photos and then went to their press thing, but he stopped and talked to everyone. He's amazing. I'm excited to see him in more stuff. So
awesome. I'm happy to hear that. What's up, Jimmy Owens? Dean, what's going on? Max, how's everybody doing this evening? Welcome to the middle ground between light and shadow. I appreciate that. Was Fing Fang? Hey, no spoilers, Steven. I don't know if Fing Fang Tidy Whitey is going to be there. What's up, Marvel Bam? How you doing, buddy? Get over here. Michael, thank you so much for keeping an eye on the chat. Keep those hooligans down. All right, so tonight we are talking about the first 3 episodes of the Marvel TV show What If? And these are animated shows. They're on Disney Plus, and I believe that is the only way that you can see them. You can't see, legally the only way you can see them. How about that? And the What If series is, of course, based on the comic books, the What If comic books, which is asking the question, what if Spider-Man had become the 5th member of the Fantastic Four? Then it would be the Fantastic Five. What if Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires? And they've done that with the MCU now. So the first 3 we're going to be talking about are, and just in case we are going to be talking about spoilers, so keep that in mind. So we have episode 1. Did they name this episode? Was it a What If title? Or was it just What If episode 1?
I think it was What If Peggy Carter? I don't know. It might have just been episode 1.
Because I remember when it was coming out, I thought, oh, this is cool. They're going to have What If stories. They're going to be classic stories. But no, instead they're doing their own thing. And with episode 1, they're doing their own thing. Now, I think is it going to be 10 episodes long?
I don't know. I can't remember if it was 6 or 10, because I thought at first it was 3 and 3, but that seems really short, so it might be 10.
Okay, so the first one is called What If Captain Carter Were the First Avenger? So that's what the first one is called. So let's talk about the first one really quick, and then we'll talk about 2 and 3, and talk about the series and our favorite What If stories as well. All right, so what if Captain Carter were the first Avenger? So this is the Watcher, by the way, the guy that sees everything but cannot interact with anybody. He cannot interfere. Is the one narrating the story. So you have Jeffrey Wright, that's the voice of the Watcher. So that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that until I watched the series. Then you have Haley Atwell come back and do the voice of Peggy Carter. So in this, Peggy Carter becomes Captain Britain, Captain Carter, I guess, instead of Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers gets injured when he was supposed to become Captain America, but instead Peggy steps up in the machine and becomes Captain Carter. So she's all beefed up, and that's what the first episode is about. So yeah, we're going to be talking about all three of them, Tevon, all three of them. So just in case, spoilers, by the way. So I'm going to put, you know what? I'm going to do y'all a solid. Spoiler at the bottom, just in case. So we're not held accountable. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting storyline. I'm always, whenever I watch What Ifs, or whenever I'm reading What Ifs, I always expect the worst things to happen. I expect characters to die. I expect the stories not to have a happy ending. So when I was watching this, it felt like, oh man, okay. All they're doing is just really changing up the character a little bit. So Steve Rogers is now inside of the Iron Armor, the C-15, and Captain Carter is now leading the Howling Commandos, including Bucky. So it's the same story as Captain America, the first Avenger, but it's just now Peggy that's leading the team. So Steve Rogers stayed in that body for the rest of the episode. But then he got to be in the Iron Armor, and they got to fight the Red Skull and a Cthulhu creature, and then pretty much that's it. Like, she gets sent to the future, where it was nice to see Nick Fury show up, and I think it was Clint Barton at the end, and talking about how, you know, the war was over, and that's where the episode ends. And of course, I've seen a lot before I even saw the episode, because it took me about a week to see the episode. I saw a lot of memes about Big Peggy Carter and a little Steve Rogers, so kind of knew what to expect.
It's the best dynamic. I need it.
So this episode was okay. We'll go back and talk about the animation after we talk about the first three episodes. This episode was okay. It was just kind of, to me, it just kind of felt bland. Nothing really special. All they did was kind of switch out a character. So I was expecting, like I mentioned, a little bit more. Maybe because the comics have really, really they have just pampered me to expect really great twists and plots. And this one didn't have that many. You know, it was pretty much Steve Rogers inside of the Iron Armor. And yeah, instead of Captain America, we get Captain Carter. What did you think about this one?
So I have a very love-hate relationship with this episode, because it was really cool to see Captain Carter, but they didn't let her do much. Mm-hmm. Like I was really hoping, like I didn't like Hydra Stomper. It didn't need to happen, and it kind of took away from Peggy Carter, I feel like. And also, like, I would have been more interested to see more of a ripple effect. Like, maybe we got Winter Soldier Steve when he fell off the ledge instead of Bucky. Like, that's what, as soon as he fell in that train scene, I was like, Winter Steve, let's go.
Winter Steve, that's a horrible code name.
Like, that's what, like, I was hoping so much for, like, a little more of a ripple effect. Because some of the later episodes, too, like, you really start to see, like, this one thing changes. Here's a whole different outcome. But this one, yeah, it stayed pretty linear. Mm-hmm. Not much change. Not much of the outcome changed. Like, Fury still ended up finding her. It was cool to see Captain Carter. But, yeah, just, I kind of wanted more from it.
So, okay, Michael, I know some of them were dud, but some of them were awesome. The 90s were awesome, man. All right. The one thing, James, I said this. I remember saying this, too.
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute. She's just killing people left and right. She's taking the dude out of a plane and throwing him to the side. And I started thinking back, did Captain America do that? Because the movies, the MCU has kind of let us believe that it's okay to kill bad guys. Whereas in the comics, you know, they stay faithful to, like, hey, no killing. Good guys do not kill. Like, it's a big deal if a superhero kills somebody on accident in the comics. In the movies, I mean, even Spider-Man had a kill mode in his suit. So I was trying to remember if Captain America, Steve Rogers, killed as many people as Peggy Carter, as she's, like, throwing them out of their airplane and stuff. They could have survived. maybe.
Yeah, I feel like. Firstly, I feel like if you put any other music over that scene, it would have been a very drastically different scene, but instead the jazz made it very, like, lighthearted. But also, I think, and I'm trying to think, it might be Winter Soldier, the boat scene in Winter Soldier. Cap just kills, like, everyone on the boat.
I know. Yeah. I think that's
murder.
what I'm talking about. That's what I mean.
Just straight up. So I'm like, yeah, okay. But I think the jazz got me.
If Dragon Ball Z has taught me anything, the American version of the first time Dragon Ball Z came over, parachutes, like, out of the scene could have mean, like, they could have survived. First show I've caught him, Weeks, what's up, Phil Owens? And the first thing I hear out of Omar's mouth is 90s were awesome. Unsubscribe. I appreciate that, buddy. I know you love Venom. Don't lie. I was talking about 90s What If, man. Don't get me wrong, I love classic What If stories, but most of that stuff has already happened. It's canon, right? Like, what if Jane Foster was Thor? Dude, that happened. Like, so all those stories have kind of outdated. 90s are still crazy, man. They went nuts. The G.I. Joe. See, I was thinking of Dragon Ball Z. And I don't think in G.I. Joe they didn't kill anybody. Even when they tried to kill Duke, spoilers, they couldn't do it.
Oh my god. And they had him, like, talking as he's clearly dead.
Oh, in the whole scene where they're crying and they're like, oh, he's gonna live, because they had to redub it because of Optimus Prime. But hey, that's another story. All right. So episode 1, we'll go back and rate each one. But yeah, that's our thoughts on episode 1. Episode 2. This one's a lot. This one means a lot because episode 2, I believe, is the last Chadwick Boseman work before he passed away. Or the one, I'm sorry, the last work he did that is now being shown. So post his death, man. So this episode is, let me see what this one is called so I get this one right. I think it's What If T'Challa was Star-Lord? Just making sure. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? That's what this one is called. So you do have the return of Chadwick Boseman reprising his role as, well, now he's Star-Lord T'Challa. You have Michael Rooker come back as Yondu. Karen Gillan as Nebula. And what really surprised me was getting Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, because I could have sworn that was not Benicio del Toro doing the Collector's voice. I would bet anybody money that it was not him. But I mean, they got they got just about everybody to come back and do these characters' voices, so that's really cool.
I was so shocked by Thanos. Like, that left hooked me. I was not expecting it at all. Like, that whole episode was a ride, because I think that one really started to do kind of original ideas. And I don't know about you, but I also really like that this one circled back to a bad ending, because I'm like, the whole episode I was like, this is really fun, but it's too perfect, right? Like, there has to be a reason Peter Quill is Star-Lord, because, like, everything's going way too smoothly. We've avoided all these crises. So I think, for me anyway, like, the ending kind of circling back to, like, oh, and then Ego gets his way and it all blows up. I'm like, okay, that feels like a what if story, because it right. Can never end well.
So, and I also like the change in Star-Lord, because if you remember Guardians of the Galaxy, whenever Peter said his name, he was like Star-Lord, and nobody knew who he was, right? The whole joke was Korath said who, and that became a meme. In this, when T'Challa says Star-Lord, like, Korath freaks out. He's like, oh my god, you're a legend. This is amazing. I can't believe you're, and he wants to join his crew. Dude, they even got Chris Sullivan to come back and do Taserface voice.
Yes. Which
I did not expect. So
I love that Korvath got more shine in this than he did in 2 movies. I was like, good for you.
and he was not, like, he was crazy. He didn't act like the character in the movie, because in the movie he is a little bit one-dimensional. And I mean, when you have standout crazy characters like you do as the main cast, I guess that balances it out to have a pretty one-dimensional villain. And then the Collector. We got the Collector, which, like I said, surprised me that it was Benicio del Toro. Like, I didn't see that coming. We also had a small cameo again by Howard the Duck. That was a nice little touch. But the Collector wearing Hela's helmet, and I thought that was a pretty nice fight scene. And we even got a little bit of a little cameo there towards the end by Peter when his dad shows up. at the Dairy Queen. So it was a nice little touch.
I just love the idea that he's just still in Missouri working at a Dairy Queen the whole time.
Which is, I mean, it makes sense, but it's almost so sad because that man is in his, late 30s, early 40s now. But
yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with working at a Dairy Queen when you're at that age. Just saying. I just expected a little more.
He's supposed to be an explorer.
Just right. So it goes to show you the big differences if T'Challa were to become Star-Lord, right? And his relationship with the Ravagers. And then Peter Quill becoming Star-Lord and his relationship with everybody in the galaxy. Like Thanos is now hanging out with them. He's a good guy. He's part of the crew. Drax is taking selfies with him. It shows a different dynamic and a different kind of character. And then at the very end, of course, they paid a big tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who left us way too early. Way too soon.
Yeah.
And damn
I
sad.
cried.
Damn sad.
It was a good episode, but it was like one of those moments where like a couple times I was just like, man, I'm really sad that like this is the last we're seeing of this character, you know?
Right. I don't know how they'll.
It was amazing T'Challa.
I don't know how they'll do the next movie. I think it's already filming.
Yeah.
And then that takes us to the third episode. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's talk a little bit about this one. This one was more fun. This one changed up a lot of things, and characters were acting goofy, and I kind of like that. I kind of like a different take on these characters, including Thanos and Korath, like you mentioned. And even Nebula, I like the way she looked. Even she had a happier kind of life because it was T'Challa out there.
It was weird. It's like this universe, like everything was going good. Like we get like a good dad moment for like Yondu and for Thanos to their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, of course, like it did have to have a bad ending. So like everything's too perfect, but it's also kind of cool seeing this like perfect version of what things could have been.
And I like that. I like the idea of changing things up. And this is obviously you're going to enjoy this a lot more if you had already seen the MCU movies. I can't imagine going into this series, a What If series, if you had not watched the movies. And I mean, I guess they're kind of fun, maybe like really quick little episodes, but I think this is geared more towards like, hey, you've enjoyed the movies. Here's one little thing that changed the entire timeline of those movies. And we're introduced to the idea of the multiverse, and they've been hinting at it, right, for a while, like with Loki, with WandaVision, and with the big trailer, of course, that broke out, when was it, Tuesday or Monday?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 trailer. So, yeah, I had a lot more fun with this one. What about you? Did you like this one more than the first one?
I did. I think this one started to do more of what I like. I like when what if stories are more than one small detail. I really like when they're like alternative Marvel histories and they really dive deep into like everything changes. Mm-hmm. So this one was one of those, and the third one was as well. But I liked this one quite a bit because it was neat seeing these characters get shine that are mostly side characters, like a lot of the Ravengers and Nebula and stuff. So I really enjoyed this, but I agree. I think if you didn't watch Guardians, it would be kind of like, what's the point? Same with this whole show. I feel like it's just, since the point of it is changing things, not having the continuity to go off of would be weird.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one, and I don't know which one I liked more because the next one I really like too. So episode 3 is called What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes? And this reminded me more of a what if story. Because of the way that it's handled. And again, look at the bottom, just in case you're now tuning in. Spoilers. If you haven't seen the third episode, okay? Yeah, Torsten, if you haven't seen it, buddy, we'll see you later. Catch us on the replay, man.
It's really good. Go watch it.
It was a lot of fun. Okay, so episode 3 takes place during Nick Fury's big week, where he's pretty much assembling the team of Avengers. This is when the Avengers Initiative takes place. And we have, we have all these classic shots from these movies, for like Iron Man, and it's Nick Fury and Natasha Romanoff. This is kind of their thing. They're going after these Avengers. However, these Avengers are being killed off one by one. First, and Nick Fury thinks it's his fault at first for killing off Iron Man. And then when they try to recruit Bruce Banner, he ends up having this scene where he blows up, like the Hulk blows up. It was awesome. It's kind of graphic, but really cool. And then Thor, who just comes with his lovely hair, just gets killed by an arrow, which kind of surprised me. But hey, multiverse, whatever, I'll take it. And then Hawkeye ends up getting killed. So one by one, his Avengers that he is building, ends up getting killed. And we don't know exactly what's going on. So Natasha, Black Widow, who is not voiced, by the way, by Scarlett Johansson, but it's voiced by...
I was wondering, because it didn't sound like her.
Yeah. She was voiced by Lake Bell, who I thought did a pretty good job of voicing her. Figures out what exactly is going on. And this one here, the voice cast in this one surprised me as well, for episode 3, because when you find out, she said it's all about hope, right? And Nick Fury is trying to figure out what that means. So he's talking to Phil Coulson, Agent Coulson, and he finally figures out what it means. And pretty much it's, again, spoilers, Hank Pym. So Michael Douglas coming back to do a voice, which is awesome. I love it. And it was also Mark Ruffalo doing the voice of Bruce Banner, by the way. Coming back and talking about how he's blaming Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. for killing his daughter, Hope Van Dyne. So that's what this was about. Like, Hope Van Dyne. And he's taking revenge.
I think the build-up and reveal for this one was so well done. Because I was trying to figure it out as it went, and it really wasn't till pretty much right around the time that Scarlett's like Hope that I was like, oh shit, wait. Like, they did a really good job with this one, I think. And I don't know. Everything about this episode I loved.
I think the movies have built up such a cast and a variety of characters that I was like you too. I was like, well, okay, who's killing off the Avengers? Who? Because, I mean, even Loki shows up, right, to get revenge for his brother Thor, who is supposed to take over the throne in Asgard. But yeah, and then even when she said Hope, it's all about Hope. It's like, is there a character named Hope? Am I missing? And all I kept thinking, of course, was X-Men, Cable and Hope. Yeah. No, it's not that. That's stupid. Why would it be that? So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and I like the fight at the end. Loki gets involved, and they take out Ant-Man. So it was Ant-Man in the yellow jacket outfit, right? Like he was wearing a yellow, yeah. It looked like a yellow jacket outfit that had, and you see a replay of what he had done, taking out the teams one by one, taking out Hawkeye, taking out the Hulk, what he did to the Hulk, comic book science. But yeah, I think this one here, this one was a lot of fun. I like this one. I think this might be my favorite episode out of the 3. So what about you? What did you think about this one?
I love this one. I was very like about this week because when they first announced it, I was almost certain this is going to be Marvel Zombies week. And that one just always like, it's a cool Elseworld story, but like it's not really one of those what ifs that excites me. So as soon as I hit play, I didn't really pay attention to the name of it, and then the whole opening scene with Tony, I was like, oh, this is going to be something different. And like it was such a fun ride. I agree. It felt the most like a what if story. And I think I clicked with it the most because of that. And I just think between being well written and not being predictable and just bringing back a lot of cool memories from phase 1, like I think this one was just fantastic. Like it was cool seeing Ruffalo in the shoes of the Hulk movie since he didn't get to be in it. I like that a lot too.
Oh, and we got this is the first time that we got to see Betty Ross in the MCU.
Yes.
Now,
and I really like. Do you know? Was that actually Liv?
No, it was somebody else. It wasn't Liv Tyler. They got Sif. Sif's gotten a lot of justice in the MCU TV shows.
Yes, I really want her in Love and Thunder.
And but yeah, it was Jeremy Renner doing the voice of Hawkeye. It was Mark Ruffalo doing the voice of Bruce Banner, and then Brock Rumlow came back. I think he was the one that was running the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, but he's the guy that becomes Crossbones later. Well, was he officially Crossbones in the MCU? I can never remember if they ever called it. No, they never did call him that, did they?
I don't think so. They might have him. Was he in Falcon and Soldier? No, that was Bad Rock. Never mind. I don't think they ever officially called him Crossbones. They might have on merch, but
yeah, I think it just might have been a bad guy, like a bad guy. That was it. All right, so let's talk about all three of these episodes and the animation and the voice acting, because that's a big part of animation, right? Is the voice acting, how well the voice acting is done, and we've come to learn from our past experiences that just because they're good actors doesn't necessarily make them good voice actors. There's a huge difference. It's a completely different game when you're voice acting as opposed to acting. Like, you can't use your hands, emotions. It's not visual. It's all about the voices. So did they? Okay, hold on. So Tevon's saying that he was Crossbones in Ultron. So did they call him Crossbones? I couldn't remember. I know he had a skull on his face, but I don't think. But then again, they never called her Scarlet Witch until the show either. So could have been just no name. All right. How did you feel about the animation? What did you think about the What If animation? Then we'll get into the voice acting.
I really didn't like it at first. I really didn't, because I'm not a huge fan of 3D animation for things like this. Like, same reason I couldn't get into RWBY and like a lot of like the new Transformers one and stuff. I'm just not huge on 3D animation, unless it's like a Pixar film, because they have their own style now that's just so stylistic. But I think it grew on me after getting to the end of episode 1. And I kind of got used to it throughout episode 2. So when I hit episode 3, I was kind of like, oh, I kind of vibe with this. I kind of like this now. So I think it just took getting used to it, because the likeness of some people is so spot on. And then some of them are just, it could just be a normal cartoon character. Mm-hmm. But I think the like 3D cell shaded has grown on me the further I've gotten into the series, because I was very kind of about it at first.
I know the look they were going for, and it seemed like it felt cheap, and I hate to say that. For a show that had a lot of action, and let's go back to episode 1, where Captain Carter's just throwing her shield around and fighting a bunch of Nazis and throwing them out of planes. There were so many stiff moments, like where it just looked really jarring because of that type of animation that they're using. So it's it's definitely 3D with the animation finish. I can't remember what layer they use on top of it, and we've seen it before. We've seen it in the Berserk movies, and like you mentioned, the Transformers show. And honestly, it works on a show like Transformers because they're robots, right? They move like that, I guess, if robots were real. But for humans, the way that a human body is supposed to move. So it's a little jarring whenever you see somebody and frames of animations are dropped. And I get the look they're going for, right? Like they're going for this old school look to them. Like their faces are this old school, like Disney look, when Disney hand-drawn animation. And it really, really made me miss those days of hand-drawn animation, because I think that's where they would have benefited from hand-drawn animation in a show like this. Because you're also basing the show on comics. So it would have been nice to have something stand out of the norm. We have shows like Invincible and shows like that, obviously everything is computer generated these days. But I would have loved to have seen an old school look. If they're going to go back and give you that old school feel of old Disney cartoons, then I would have loved to have seen some hand-drawn animation for this particular show. I know it would have been, costly, and it would have been time consuming, but I think it would have been completely worth it, because man, and it's not just the bodies, it's their facial features too. Like whenever they're talking. So whenever you have an emotional scene, you kind of lose that feel, because their mouths just move like, I can't do it because I'm a human being. But I've seen that same critique about anime. Like people can't watch anime because their lips move too big and their mouths aren't in sync. But that's a little bit different, though. I mean, it's completely different, because you're talking about when a show is translated from Japanese to English, and then you have to dub it in English. In this, it just felt like their mouths are just moving like robots, and somebody's filling in the lines.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when you get 3D, you have to choose how much you stylize it, because if you don't nail it, it's very Uncanny Valley, where you can get away with a lot more things in 2D because it's isolated as a cartoon. And I agree. I think seeing this as a 2D thing, like either the DC animated films or like Invincible, I think it would have hit a lot harder for me. But I think they were going for that kind of cel-shaded Spider-Verse look, because Into the Spider-Verse did so well with feeling like a comic that they were like, let's do something like that. But it just didn't hit for me.
You are absolutely right. And that was stylized, but it was wonderfully done. And of course, that is a multi-million-dollar movie compared to spreading that out throughout, the TV shows.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's my biggest issue.
Stylize it enough.
Yes, it didn't. It wanted to stand out, but it didn't, at least to me. So that's my biggest issue with the show, was the animation. Now let's talk about the voice acting. Because whenever you have animation like that, it's already taking you out. Like, oh man, lips are not syncing up with the voices. Maybe the voice acting will carry it. But man, there were some dull voice actors in there.
Oh yeah.
Like going back to episode 1, I don't know if what's his name, Bucky, did the voice of Bucky or not. I'll have to look that up really quick. But man, he was pretty damn bad at voice acting. The
guy who did Howard Stark did really well. I was kind of like, damn, okay. But yeah, some of the voice acting just fell really short. I felt like the real good voices that I really noticed as being surprised they were good voice actors were like Chadwick, whoever did Howard Stark, and I thought honestly that Jeremy Renner did a pretty good job, and Coulson did a pretty good job in the newest episode.
Actually, Coulson was good, and I don't know if it's good or if it's just become a thing in my life where Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson just gets a pass because I love his voice so much. Yeah. But he's done voice acting in the past, like he's done it in the Boondocks, for example. But yeah, I can't imagine too many. He was also Frozone. Thank you so much, Max. That was the only one.
Yeah, you can tell he had experience. Like he hit it out of the park.
Not all actors are voice actors, and we see that in the series. Exactly what I said earlier, man. And I think that's a big issue with me is, you can't deliver the lines the same way as you can in a live action movie. So yeah, the animation, I don't know, just felt a little off, and then some of the voice acting. The overall plot is okay so far out of the 3 we've seen. It's unfair to judge the whole series because they're not all out yet. I'll double check. I think there's supposed to be 10 episodes in season 1.
Okay.
Well, I haven't heard this. Chadwick Boseman's going to be in 4 episodes? Really? I thought this was his last work. Or as a cameo, maybe.
Maybe What If was his last work, not specifically that episode. I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. But
I hope they stay broad like the last 2 have been. I know Peggy Carter was probably kind of one done to sell toys. But I hope they stay kind of broad. I know Marvel Zombies is going to be Marvel Zombies. Like, if you love the genre, you're going to love it. I've never really cared for the zombie plots in comics, but I hope some of the other ones, because they haven't announced what a lot of the remaining ones are besides Marvel Zombies, because they only came out and said like 3 or 4 episode titles. Mm-hmm. So I'm very intrigued about the one with Spider-Man and like the Doctor Strange cloak and stuff. So I'm hoping they stay big picture and we see big like world ripples, because that's the fun of the multiverse, is just watching chaos.
Well, and I want them to get creative, right? If we're gonna go crazy, I don't want them to play it safe. Oh, what if Captain Carter was there fighting in World War II instead of Captain America? I want them to go all balls out crazy like they did in the 90s comics, because that's what made it fun, was seeing these characters act out of the ordinary. And I honestly think that's what they were trying to do in the 2nd episode a little bit with the Star Wars storyline. So there are 9 episodes. Thank you, James and DBZ All-Star. in the first season. And I just looked it up, and Sir Poncho is right. Chadwick Boseman has 4 episodes to his credit, so I don't know if they'll show up or not. Do you like real life zombies? So yeah, out of the first 3, I think for me, the third one was probably my favorite one. It was when characters are dying left and right. I think that's when it's most fun. And it was a whodunit.
Yeah, it was a fun whodunit, and I liked it because it really kept you kind of on the edge of your seat the whole time. Like, the second one was fun, but I really wasn't worried for many of the characters in the plot. Like, it felt pretty linear. And both it and the first one kind of followed the movies they were based after a little bit, where I know like this followed Fury's big week, but it really felt like it was shaking a lot more up.
So hopefully, I think so far we've seen, let's see, Spider-Man with the Doctor Strange cloak. So I guess they can use Sony characters or characters that are owned by Sony. Interesting. So does that mean that now they can also use Fox character or old Fox characters like X-Men? But then it wouldn't be really fun to see that, right? Like, what if the X-Men... Well, I don't know. I guess they can make it fun. Like, what if the X-Men were part of the Endgame?
I think people have been speculating that they might bring Venom into What If. And I think that could be very interesting. I don't know if they'll pull that, but there's been a lot of speculation that could be a direction they're going since they're involving since they're involving Sony properties.
Sony products. Okay. If they're doing Sony, then they can go with that. Because, I mean, we've seen Betty and we've seen Hulk. So that's all part of that whole weird Paramount deal. So odds are we might be able to see Namor if that ever comes. But then again, since this is all based on the MCU, I'm sure we're going to see that. Yeah, they haven't revealed any titles yet. I think they're revealing them as the episode comes out. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, they dropped the first 3 before they came out, but they already changed the order of them because 3 was supposed to be zombies when they dropped, like, I think it was an Instagram post on Marvel's thing. So I don't know if they'll drop the next 3 now that 3 is out, or if that was just trying to get people invested in the show. But I remember they dropped like 3 titles at the beginning. But it could have just been a PR thing because they were like, hey, the Chadwick episode, like Marvel Zombies, and we've got Captain Carter. Like, it might have just been kind of like trying to get people to check it out more than letting us know. But who knows? They might drop the next 3. I don't know.
So overall, and for anybody that has watched it, the first 3 episodes, what would you give this series so far? What if the X-Men didn't ever? Out of 10, what would you want to give this series so far?
I would give it like a 6 or a 7. Like, it's fun. But if I had to like suggest someone to watch only like one of the new Disney Plus shows, I probably wouldn't suggest this one. But I think it's fun, and especially if you like small details in the Marvel movies, it has a lot of fun payoffs and a lot of fun twists and Easter eggs for you. But I don't know, like a 6 or a 7.
I think for me, I think it's I go into animation to watch animation to lose myself because they can get creative with the things that they can't do in real life movies. But it feels like every one of these they could have done in a live action movie. I mean, it's pretty stale so far. Nothing really stands out. Other than a few, one episode was fun, but that doesn't really make the series. So I'd probably give it a 5.5 out of 10. I was going to say I almost stopped watching it, honestly, because the lip syncing was really bothering me.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I just watched 2 and 3, like, yesterday and today, because, like, the first one I was just kind of like, like, they're fun, but, like, usually I prefer animation. Like, I will absolutely destroy and, like, binge watch a cartoon, because I just tend to prefer that medium, but this one's just been hard to get into.
I'm just going to read some of these scores that you all have given them. 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 6, 4 to 5 out of 10. And I just saw the Midnight Suns game trailer, dude. And of course, they added Wolverine, who was not even part of the Midnight Suns. But hey, whatever. I haven't seen it yet, but in an alternate reality, I gave it a 10 out of 10. No, you wouldn't, Phil. First 3 episodes, 7 out of 10. It's getting better on each episode. Still didn't like how they nerfed Thanos. Yeah, they changed them up. 7. It's entertaining enough while we wait for things we actually want to watch, and it's very uninteresting for anyone who hasn't seen. Now, I can't imagine people going into What If having not watched any of it.
I feel like it wouldn't be worth watching, quite frankly, if you hadn't seen it, because like the fun is the difference.
3 out of 10, 7 out of 10. What if I gave it an 8 out of 10? All right, funny man. 3 out of 10. That's probably the lowest one we've seen so far. DBC All-Star 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. First 2 episodes. You haven't seen 3 yet. 3 was the most fun, but
it was cool seeing Thanos fight his own Black Order, though.
Yeah, and the Collector was all ripped, too. I wonder if that was Benicio del Toro. Was like, man, if I'm going to be in this, y'all make sure I'm huge and I'm jacked up, please. All right. What story would you like? What's your favorite What If stories?
I really liked What If Dark Reign.
Mm-hmm.
The one where they just completely take over and it's like, oh, shit. I can't remember. It's a What If one with Sabretooth. And he like does a murder spree through the mansion. That one's really fun.
Oh, is it the one with Jubilee?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was... Oh, man, that was a good one. That was towards the end of the What If 90s run, and it was just called What If Sabretooth. I think it's what it was
That
called.
one's just a horror movie. Really.
Yeah, that one's done well. 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 0.5 out of 10. What if I give a crap out of 10?
And then I really like What If Dark Phoenix, where like she just keeps eating planets and stuff. Like that one's fun. What about you?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. What was it? What if the Punisher had killed Daredevil is one of my favorite ones because it isn't even a Punisher or Daredevil story. It's more of a Spider-Man story. Love it. Man, let's see. I wasn't kidding. What if Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires? That's always been one of my favorite ones. What if Magneto ruled all mutants? All right, to branch out of X-Men though. It's hard to branch out of X-Men. Oh, what if they revived Captain America today in modern time? That was
I just remembered. I will have to say, I think my favorite was the What If they did where magic became Sorcerer Supreme. I totally forgot that was a What If.
And I think that one was just called What If, right? What If Magic?
Yeah, I think it was What If Magic. It came out like last year or the year before or something like that.
Yeah,
2018 at the latest or the earliest.
Yeah. It was a couple of years ago. It's one. I like the route they're going now with like the Shadow. What is it? The Spider Shadow. So it's like a 5-issue series.
It just finished, so I'm waiting for the trade to read it. But I heard that one was really well done, and I like the new What If logo. How it's almost like a subset of Marvel more than its own title.
It's almost like DC stopped doing Elseworlds, and Marvel said we'll do Elseworlds. Yeah, I like that too. I'm a huge fan of alternate reality, so there's a lot of these that hit. What if Wolverine had killed Hulk is good, but what if Hulk had killed Wolverine with that cover of Wolverine and like the adamant? Oh, I love these, man. What if Allegra had lived this up? That's the one by Frank Miller, isn't it? That's a classic. What if Xavier became Juggernaut?
Ooh.
I want to say that one is the cover. I remember was Jim Lee, if I'm not mistaken. Remember reading What If the Symbiote joined with the Punisher, but that's got to be a rated R TV show. What if Wolverine was Lord of the Vampires during Inferno? What if Daredevil killed Kingpin? Yeah, what if Wolverine killed the Hulk? I need
to read a lot more What Ifs. I think I've only read like enough What Ifs to fit on my hands. Like I need to go through and read more because some of them are really cool sounding.
Oh, they're great. They're releasing an omnibus of the first series. So there's going to be 2 omnis with the first series. And so all of them have been collected in there with the exception of What If 16, which is the Fu Manchu story. And because of legal reasons, they can't use that character. It's only collected in the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu omnibus. Trying to think of, Spider-Girl. I'm glad somebody mentioned Spider-Girl because I love May Parker. And I'm glad that they decided to do that. Oh, it's Chip Zdarsky's designed the logo, which is cool. He wants to do a multiple What If miniseries.
Nice.
The ending of Spider Shadow is perfect, and those 2 last issues are great.
I like the longer format. I like the if they could all be mini formats. I think you can explore it a lot better.
What if Tim Drake was gay? Dude, okay. Somebody messaged me, and then I had a friend text me. I guess there was a big new. I stay out of social media most of the week, and I think I give it a break like once or twice a week. I go in there, but somebody messaged. Apparently, it had broken out. So one of my non-comic book friends messaged me out of the blue, going, "Dude, Robin is bisexual," and I said. So initially, I thought, yeah. Jason Todd, that actually makes sense. Okay, cool. He's like, no, dude, the third Robin, the Tim Drake guy. And I was like, Tim Drake is bisexual? He doesn't like chicks. And he was
literally same. I was like, wait, he likes women when the news came out? I was like, what?
That was my response. Like, he doesn't like chicks. Stop. I love when my non-comic book friends message me. That's when I know something has been posted on social media and has broken out. And of course, just randomly, I'm like, Robin is bisexual. Last time that it's happened before, we're like, Iceman is gay. I didn't even read that issue yet. What if the Thing and Beast continued to mutate? That was a good one. That was from the original series, wasn't it? Yeah. I think it was. The only problem I have with Tim Drake's story arc and being revealed as being bisexual is that the fact that DC apparently does not understand what being bisexual means. I haven't read it, honestly, so I don't know how it came out. All I know is I did like him and Stephanie together, but they're a mess, and they've been a mess for a long time.
I'm strongly sure that DC doesn't actually know how to write gay characters, because every time they do it, it's a real 70-30 on if they're gonna do it correctly, 30 being correctly. So
oh man, so I hate to say sometimes, and it's not just DC, but then things happen because they do pander to their audience, and I hate when that happens just because. Omar, Tim Drake can like men and women. However, I don't think they needed to end his relationship with Stephanie off panel. See? Yeah, man, they've been hit and miss for so long. Have you read the Star Wars Infinities? It's their version of What If. How long do you think before Disney made an animated? I haven't read that. That's cool. I didn't know they did that. That is cool. Have you read any of those?
No, I didn't know they did that. I don't usually pick up the Star Wars books. I've been thinking about picking up Dr. Aphra because I've heard really good things, but I haven't picked up any yet.
Oh, dude, you haven't read that? It's so good. It was so good. That was a book I couldn't put down.
I heard it's very Indiana Jonesy.
Yeah. So when I heard about Dr. Aphra, I thought she was like Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. But no, she's like Dr. Jones. She's a freaking awesome character. So it's awesome, because it's paying homage to George Lucas, because that's this other thing, right? Dr. Jones was an archaeologist. Man, those stories are awesome. The first, I will say the first omnibus is great. The recent run has been okay, just at best, but it's about to, because they got rid of most of the cast from the first series, and they're introducing a new cast, and the new cast is kind of bland. They're about to go into that crossover though, the War of the Bounty Hunters. So I don't know, but yeah, if you've not read it, it's so good.
I want to check that out. I'm a very casual Star Wars fan, so it's got to be something very ooh, my interest is piqued for me to do it, but it looks really cool. So
they're releasing a lot of stuff. They're releasing Marvel stuff, and then they're releasing some stuff from Legends, like the Dark Horse era, and the Knights of the Old Republic, which I've never played the game. Those comics were phenomenal. The omnibus is just called Star Wars Old Republic. It's freaking awesome. What if DC understood how sexuality is a spectrum and that bisexual people can be with men and women? I have no idea how they handled it. So now I'm curious to read that issue. What if Chuck Austin and Peter Milligan runs on X-Men never happened? God bless you. Oh, man, I was not a fan of those book runs. What if Reed Richards had never created unstable molecules, aka 60 years of naked superheroes. That's right. Like
except the telepaths.
Omar loves Virgin River and Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, of course. I never watched a single episode of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. I've watched all 3 seasons of that crappy Virgin River show, though. Don't ask me why. Whoa! War of the Bounty Hunters is nearly 40 pieces. After it ends, the series Crimson Reign will begin, focusing on Han Solo's former love interest.
Interesting.
40 issues, you say? That's enough for a omnibus.
It's been going for a while. Like, it's been months since I've been seeing the banners for War of the Bounty Hunters, so I'm not surprised it's going to be that big.
So Star Wars Infinite is available in Epic Collections? I don't think I've read a single one of those, man. Thank you for letting me know, asked Curtis. I sure will. If you got to do a what if story, who would you choose to do, and how would you change their story? What if Rogue was my girlfriend? Starring me and Rogue, and that's it. No, let's see. That's a good question. Any Marvel character? And how would we change it, huh? All right. Let me think about this. Ødfel, put your thinking cap on. Let's see. I'm trying to branch out outside of X-Men, but it's so hard not to, damn it.
Same. Like, my brain is going like Justice for Madeline Pryor, but I should branch out of X-Men.
All right. What if the New Warriors had never disbanded? There we go. And just became the Warriors, right? I was a big fan of Kurt Busiek's run because he took a couple of characters like Firestar and Justice, Marvel Boy, and, he aged them a little bit and made them into solid Avengers. And I like that. I like when characters grow up, especially characters I grew up reading when we were kids, and now they're back to being kids again. I love the New Mutants, but God bless how many times are we going to revamp that series where they're like, oh, we're going to join the X-Men. We're official X-Men, Cannonball and Sunspotter X-Men. No, they're kids again. Professor X is like, get out. And like, they're back to being 15 and 16 again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think a cool concept I saw lately that I would like to see revisited in more of a what if setting. What if Thor was the Herald of Galactus, but like I'd like to actually see a plot where he stays the Herald of Galactus for a while, because it only lasted like an issue or two. But it was really freaking cool to see while it was happening in the Kate's run. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see one where it's like more turmoil with that, because Thor kind of was just like cool extra powers, and it didn't really end up doing much with Galactus.
I like that run, and that would be interesting to see. You're doing Thor like Odin's son, right? Becoming the Herald of Galactus.
Yeah, because like I've loved that run so far, but I really wish we got more time with him being a Herald of Galactus, because that was really cool.
Seems like they did that just so they can give him his classic look back.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess it's okay. What if David Gabriel did a live interview on Near Mint Condition? I can always ask, man. Omar, one of the pitches I'm working on for Marvel could be considered a what if, but I would like it to be canon. It would retcon the events of Sins Past. Oh, man. I was just talking to some friends about Sins Past today. What a crap show. My God. That was rough. So, speaking of Sins Past, we got a little bit of time here. Everybody see that Spider-Man 3 trailer? Huh?
Oh, my gosh.
Let's talk about that really quick before we get going. So, Spider-Man 3 talk, the trailer.
I'm surprised, first of all, whoever leaked that is probably scared for their life right now. I can't even imagine.
My theory is that whoever leaked that was on their way out, lost their job, because it looks like what they had was the early footage, right? Like without the finished CG look to it. So, yeah. I'm glad they put it out there and Sony did the right thing, because it was supposed to be an exclusive first look for whatever the Sony thing that they're doing. But they just ended up releasing it on Monday, and then people got excited. Of course, a lot of these things that we saw in there were rumored to be in there. So just the return of the classic Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, when he says, "Hello, Peter." So, holy crap. If that's true and we get a little, we see a little pumpkin bomb. Now,
the lizard was in there.
This is Sinister Six. Holy crap, this movie just got huge. And I'm hoping, because the trailer was kind of long. It was like him and MJ talking about, holy crap, everybody knows I'm Spider-Man. I'm gonna go see Doctor Strange. Then Doctor Strange is like, yeah, we'll fix it, man. And even though Wong was like, don't do that. What are you doing? Why would you do this? So Doctor Strange casts a spell. And then Peter starts putting little things in there. And he's like, don't do that. What are you doing? You're going to mess up the spell. So whatever the spell is taps into the multiverse. So it looks like, first of all, holy crap, this movie's going to be huge.
Oh, yeah. No, it looks like it's going to just have so many people, honestly.
The cast is humongous. And if speculation is right, if Charlie Cox is in there, if he's really Daredevil, and holy crap, if Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire reprise the roles of Spider-Man, this might be the greatest Spider-Man movie ever. Or because of so many things, it could also go bad. I'm hoping for the best, but we will see.
I think it'll be fun either way. The trailer has me way more hooked than I expected to be, though, because I'm not a huge Spider-Man person.
Mm-hmm.
But
I know you're
I'm very excited for this film.
Dark World, I remembered.
Yeah. As soon as Doctor Strange is there, I was like, my interest is now here. Okay.
And can you imagine the people that cosplay? They're like, oh my god, yes, an easy cosplay of Doctor Strange.
My friends have already been posting the link for that sweatshirt.
See what I mean?
I bet there's already some at Dragon Con, and that's only like 7 days away.
How are they going to cram all this awesomeness into this movie? Because I can't imagine them getting, let's say, William Dafoe, what's his name, playing Electro, and Alfred Molina, just for like 2-minute things. Like I'm hoping, because this trailer revealed so much, that we just saw that's the first 10 minutes, and then we saw little clips of later on of whatever this 2.5 movie is going to be.
I wonder if they'll just Lord of the Rings it. Like, I would not be surprised if this ends up being like an almost 3-hour film, just because I'm like, there's so many things happening here.
Thank you, sir, Jamie Foxx. I was hoping you said Lord of the Rings it, like they'll make Spider-Man 3, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. I would be all in for that, man. That would be awesome. Especially the route that they're showing where it's gonna go. Okay.
Yeah. I could absolutely see them doing a theatrical cut and then an extended edition, just because of how many characters are going to be in this film.
So let's break down. Let's talk a little theories. All right. Something that they wanted to build in what's his name, Mark Webber's movies, The Amazing Spider-Man with the Sinister Six. They were trying to build that up in those movies. Something they could do because of past Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man movies, and the Tom Holland movies is actually pull a Sinister Six team up. So if we do have Alfred Molina back as Doc Ock, if we do have Willem Dafoe back as the Green Goblin, if we have, I cannot remember the guy's name, that's the Lizard. We have the Lizard, and we have Electro. There's 4 of them, right? Mm-hmm. We could get the Vulture, because we do need a representation of this era of Spider-Man. The 6th
Mysterio is still alive, and they could also do. I think Andrew Garfield also had Rhino.
Yeah, but what I think would be really cool is, I cannot remember the kid's name. Ned, whoever's playing Ned Leeds, his friend. He's lost a lot of weight, right? Like in recent pictures, like he looks a lot different than he does in these movies. What would be really cool is if a multiverse version of him, because we're tapping into the different multiverses, is Hobgoblin.
I've been seeing that theory around. It would be so cool.
That would be really cool. Okay, Sandman was also in the trailer.
Yeah, I could see Sandman too.
Man,
I'm wondering if they're gonna do something with Ned, because that kid dropped a lot of weight. like a lot.
Jacob Batalon. Yeah, he dropped a lot of weight. I'm thinking, man, it would be really cool if, they filmed all that. Because in the trailer, he's still a little bigger. But that could have been before his weight loss. Holy crap, that's a huge weight loss for a kid. This can't be healthy if he did before the movie. To come back as the Hobgoblin, like a alternate reality Hobgoblin. That would be really cool. But this really can go anywhere, and especially if Charlie Cox, Daredevil is in there, if Kingpin is in there. Holy crap, this would be insane. And no talk. And I don't think they can use Venom, and I think they have to postpone. I think I heard that they had to postpone Venom.
Yeah, I think they postponed Venom and Morbius. So I wonder if the ripples of this movie will be in those movies, but those characters will not be in Spider-Man.
Right. So only Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Elektra is confirmed. But we did see the Lizard in the trailer, right?
Yeah. Whoever is playing the voice actor, we don't know, but you do get a pretty clean shot. People have paused of the Lizard.
Could be a weight loss for the role, or just because he wanted to lose weight. Guess we'll just have to see. We will. Could be really fun. Oh my god! And if we get Miles in there, just pulling the live action Miles from the Spider-Verse movie, that
would be so cool.
That would be even just for a second, like a little. And this is something I've been wanting to see for a long time, ever since Infinity War. I wanted to see. I remember I wanted to see Thanos just smack Tom Holland, and then smack him so hard that he splits reality and then becomes like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Venom Let There Be Carnage might be delayed until 2022. What if the Hobgoblin had a fashion designer? Dude, I love the Hobgoblin's outfit. So much better than the Green Goblin. But yeah, it looks to be like a really fun movie. It opens up this December. I can't believe it's coming out in December. I know
that feels so soon.
Right? It feels like it's just got finished wrapping up. Like, I didn't think it was coming out that soon. But then again, they've had a whole year with no movies, right? So it's time to make.
And also, they haven't released like anything. Like, I feel like if this was any other Marvel movie, we would have seen trailers months ago.
Well, there was a rumor that they weren't going to show trailers, so I'm glad that they did. If they do have a Peter B. Parker ever in a live-action Spider-Man Spider-Verse, it has to be Jake Johnson in the role. I can live with that. Perhaps Ned Leeds was bitten by a radioactive weighing scales. Yeah, man, I got really excited when I heard Hello, Peter. That was awesome.
Hello, Peter. I freaked out because, like, those are the ones I grew up with. Like, the first trilogy of Spider-Man movies and then Fantastic Four are, like, my childhood heyday. So I'm very excited about this.
Wait. Fantastic Four, like the Fox Fantastic Four?
The one with Jessica Alba.
Okay, that's cool.
I saw both of them in theaters when I was like 6. So I love those movies.
Stop making me feel old.
Like, I love them, but I also know, like, I saw them when I was a kid. So, like, I have a different nostalgia.
Hey, Maya, how you doing? I had no idea What If was out. I thought he came out in September, so I'm going to go watch those episodes. I'll be back to watch and leave my opinions on what I think so far. Well, happy to have you here. Go watch them. I think you'll like them. You're a big fan of the MCU. So, yeah, let us know what you all think about the trailer. If you're watching this later, don't just leave those comments down below. Let us know what you think about the What If series and the trailer of Spider-Man. Omar, my joke was Hobgoblin was a fashion designer. Roderick Kingsley started out as a socialite fashion designer and a billionaire who had criminal underworld connections. How did I miss that? Thank you. Damn it. I hate when people have to explain their jokes. Sorry, Michael. I saw those in the theater when I was a kid, too. I watched the first 2 Spider-Man movies earlier today, and boy, do they not hold up. I think Macy Grace is a national treasure. Macy Grace, those movies. Oh, man.
Spider-Man's a little rocky. I think, like, honestly, Fantastic Four held up decently well, but also I wasn't expecting much from a Fantastic Four movie. Because I watched it this year and I was like, this isn't as bad as I expected it to be. Okay.
They're pretty bad.
But...
I saw E.T. in the theater when I was 6. Heimdall. I think I was around that age too, man. I love that movie, though. Smash that like button in every universe. Off-topic question. Here we go. But did DC ever say anything about cancel Batman Shaman trade paperback? It was canceled 2 times. Nothing, man. I can't even get DC to reply back to anything. I emailed them. Actually, I emailed them today again. So,
they're having a lot of issues with their trades in general. Like I work at a brick and mortar, and if we run out of a trade, even if it came out last week, we can't get a restock because like they only make a set amount. So like our entire trade section for DC is just picked over, because also anything that came out like before the switch to Lunar Press is just like impossible to get in print now.
Oh man.
So it's a mess with their trade paperbacks.
It's been like that for a little while too. Omar reported today that the Eternals Marvel reported today will stick only to the November 2021 release date if Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings succeeds at the box office. Really? Where can I read this?
Good.
Everybody go watch Shang-Chi, because Ødfel already has.
It's so good. Go see it.
She went to watch it. Where can I read the what if stories that are from the show? Sadly, nowhere. They're not really based on comics. Actually, the comics are better, so go check them out anyway. You should read the what if comics. They're a lot of fun.
And Captain Carter's in Exiles, but I don't think you get a backstory, but I think she was better done in Exiles, if I'm being real.
That's right. She was in the last Exile series. Right?
Yeah.
That's the one.
The most recent.
The Little Wolverine, I think.
Little Wolverine, it had Captain Carter, and it had movie versus Valkyrie.
Yeah. Oh my God, the Eternals movie is going to be the new Mutants. Don't say that. Don't say that, please. I want to see these movies. Let's go see them in the theater, if you still have access to theaters. If you all do go to theaters, please be safe. I want as many people to stay healthy as humanly possible. Thank you, DBC All-Star. I was just saying that. If everybody stay healthy, please. Stay safe out there. Yes. So, Ødfel, come back. Let's review Shang-Chi whenever you get back from Dragon Con.
Yes. I should be back the 6th or the 7th, and it will have been out a couple days by then, so we can sync up and figure out a good day.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll review the rest of this batch of What If. Maybe the next batch might be better. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
If it's 9, we could do like sections of 3. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'll hit you up. Everybody, please don't forget to hit that like button. Check out Ødfel's amazing, talented Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. Tumblr, is that a still thing?
I think I have an active Tumblr. I guess an inactive but uploaded Tumblr somewhere.
Well, why don't you tell people where to find you? How about that?
So I am on almost all platforms. I think I do have a Tumblr. I just don't use it. But I'm on like Vero. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I already said TikTok. All of them. YouTube. I have a YouTube. All of them should be under this username. Here on Twitter, it's just a 0 instead of an O because someone has my username. But everywhere else, it should be this. So go check out my stuff. I mostly do cosplay-related things, but I also do like fashion stuff. And on my YouTube, I do some tutorials as well as toy unboxings.
There you go. Everyone, please stay healthy, stay safe out there, and much love. You will see me again tomorrow. And then I got the upcoming collected editions coming out in September on Friday. All right.